Having a baby can be a joyous time, but what if you're unable to conceive? It's a reality for so many couples. Linda Hoang joins us to share her personal IVF journey and the reasons behind her decision to receive treatment outside of Canada. We've also asked Dr. Marjorie Dixon to be a part of this conversation. Hello, ladies. And Linda, we love that you choose to speak so openly about this topic, both on social media and here with us. Why is it important to you?
Yeah, it's something that I've found I want to be an advocate for, because when you're struggling with infertility, it's so heavy already, and it really consumes your life. And then when you add keeping it a secret from loved ones and friends, that just makes it so much harder. So I've really found that it's helpful when you talk about it to your family and friends, and then in my case, when you talk about it online, not only for the people who are struggling to know that they're not alone, but also for those who have no idea and can't relate to what you're going through, at least they feel somewhat that they can try to understand, and then maybe not say so many insensitive things that they didn't realize were insensitive if they hadn't known that you weren't struggling.
Absolutely. Okay, tell us a bit about your fertility journey, Linda.
Yeah, so my husband Mike and I have been trying to have a baby for 8 years, and yet we've tried everything. They say that we are unexplained. We have unexplained infertility, which is just wild to us that is a diagnosis. Everything looks right, everything looks good. We just can't have a baby, and they don't know why. So we've tried 3 IUI procedures. We've done herbs, vitamins, acupuncture, massage. In a moment of desperation, we did a turkey baster method at home, also did not work. We went down the adoption route, and then our adoption agency suddenly shut down. It was just like one thing after another. And then we had a terrible experience with our local clinic. So that kind of really pushed us to consider IVF abroad options.
Okay, well, I want to get Dr. Dixon in here now, since we're talking about clinics. How accessible are fertility clinics across Canada, Marjorie?
So they're fairly accessible. The issue is there is unequal access to top-tier fertility care. So if you live in a big center, and one of the big cities in the provinces or in state, you likely have a top-tier fertility center that offers everything, including IVF. But if you have a city that only has one offering, for example, you don't really have a lot of choice and options. And if you live more remotely, like I'm in Ontario, so I have patients who come from all over the province, they can access care through travel grants, so they can monitor locally but take a grant from the province to get into town to get to the IVF center at Inova. Or you can actually travel through Canada, because patients instead of going far abroad, can actually access other fertility clinics across provinces. So I'll see patients from Atlantic provinces, from out west as well. It's just that patients aren't always aware of it, so that's why it's so important to have this conversation and open up so that patients know that there are options.
And Dr. Dixon, I know that you have worked very hard to have a top-tier fertility clinic here in Toronto, but for those considering going abroad, you can learn a lot from Linda's story. So where did you go for your treatment, Linda, and why?
Yeah, so we decided to go to Barbados to do our IVF treatment, and a few reasons. We love travel, we love hot destinations. We'd never been to Barbados before. They had, good success rates. We felt really good when we talked to their doctor, and we just felt that even if it didn't work out, at least we could get this nice, relaxing beach vacation and experience out of it. So it'll still be memorable and positive. Even if, and there's always going to be that what if with IVF. So it could work locally, it could work internationally, it might not. But at least we were on the beach, didn't have to worry about commuting, didn't have to worry about, taking drugs and then going back to work. Things like that are mainly why we chose it. The price was pretty comparable in terms of procedure as well to our local clinic, but then of course you add vacation costs, flight accommodations, food. So it does get pricey, but we thought that vacation aspect felt worth it.
Okay, and would you recommend it to others based on your experience?
Yeah. So I have been telling a lot more people have been opening up about their IVF to me ever since I started posting about it, and people that are struggling are very interested in what I've been calling a procreation vacation. This concept of a vacation while you try to have a baby. But I've been saying, if you're already planning on saving and spending a big chunk of your money on IVF, then why not also look into IVF abroad options? It might not be for you. You might have a really great local clinic, but we just felt like our options were very limited, and it was the right choice for us. It didn't work out for us. Our first IVF did not work. But we were able to get 2 frozen embryos out of it. So we are going to go back when it's safe and allowed to do international travel again. And then the second time, the price is a lot cheaper, but it's never a guarantee. But honestly, we had a great vacation. We got a great trip out of it. So we're at least happy with that.
Kind of turns it into a happy occasion, which I think is kind of nice. And I am really sorry that it didn't work out, Linda, but I'm really happy to hear that you're trying again. Like, great spirit and great attitude always, so don't give up hope. Dr. Dixon, you're coming at this from the other side of the procedure, so let's talk about the things people need to consider before exploring IVF abroad, because there are a few things on that list.
Right. So, I mean, the thing about going into another jurisdiction to do this stuff is that there are certain potential pitfalls that you might not know ahead of time. So like a few of those things might be that there are different laws and different regulations, because we have certain regulatory boards here. They might not have the checks and balances that we're accustomed to. You might not have the safety of that. There are cost considerations, actually, that Linda mentioned. There are considerations around medications, because you need to take certain medications that you might have to get a prescription for ahead of time, or you might not be able to access if you need more while you're away. There's also, if you go into a different jurisdiction, they might not be as open to everyone. So LGBTQ couples, same-sex couples, and single women might not have the opportunity of being accessed or accessing care in certain foreign clinics. And then finally, sometimes when you go online, and you look at these clinics, there are some false marketing practices that people aren't aware of, but you have to understand that how things are represented is not actually how things are always. So if I was to elaborate a little bit more about this, Canada is a good jurisdiction in which to grow your family. And we have a lot of opportunity through IVF, variations on the theme, gestational surrogacy, egg donation, all of those things, and it protects everybody in the relationship. So the intended parents and gestational surrogates and egg donors, it gets complicated. And then we know that we have checks and balances and colleges that regulate us. I mean, I've had experience with patients going elsewhere and having issues as well. So I think that people need to remember, when you go to a clinic and sometimes you have an experience, great clinics can not make you feel good sometimes, and bad clinics can make you feel really good sometimes. And it's kind of, you get what you pay for, and you also have to recognize that there is a stretch, or there's a spectrum in ability of physicians, in technology that's available. In our jurisdiction, what we're doing at Inova, we're constantly improving and innovating and getting the best-in-class technology. And not everybody needs to see the fertility specialist. Sometimes they see a family doctor as they come in, and people don't necessarily understand that. But most importantly, speak to other people, speak to other doctors, because they know how to advocate for you if you're feeling lost in the journey. It's a tough journey on a good day. And so we want to do whatever we can as a subspecialty right here in Canada to be able to help you. And hopefully we'll be able to have holidays too. Whatever works for you is good for you, but know that Canada has offerings that are top tier and world class.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, Linda. What an important conversation, and we appreciate you having it with us. And we will continue the conversation, because the journey continues, of course. For more information and resources, go to cityline.com.